Hey guys, it's Jacob. I'm back with another video, and today we're going to be covering the Peloponnesian War, which was an internal conflict of Greece between the two city-states of Sparta and Athens. Alright, so Athens is largely the biggest power or city-state in Greece right now. So Athens power. And they formed the Delian League. Okay, and this includes a lot of other city-states. Sparta doesn't join. Okay, in the Delian League, instead of taking their money to another island where the treasury was, they are now bringing it to Athens. And so Athens sort of becomes the capital on the well, they were on the Attica Peninsula, but they sort of become the capital of the Delian League. Okay, and they build up their navy, and so they have naval might, and they've got all of this strength, and they start collecting taxes from their other people, and it's just starting to become really unfair, and it's becoming sort of like Athens' empire rather than the Delian League. And a city-state tries to leave, so we'll put CS for city-state, tries to leave, but Athens says no, and then A says no. Sparta says you have to let people leave or there's going to be war. You have to, or war. And Athens was so confident and cocky in their ability, and they were the hub for drama and literature and the navy. They had a largely trade-based economy, and they had to protect their trade ships, and they had a huge navy. But Sparta had the main ground force. I mean, their Spartan warriors were just, they've been training, from 7, and they were in the reserves till they were like 65. So, they were just never off the clock. So Sparta had ground superiority. So Sparta, S, infantry, A, navy. And they have the Delian League. And Sparta actually forms the Peloponnesian League because they were on the Peloponnesian Peninsula to fight back. Okay, and so Sparta realizes we cannot combat them. Well, I guess the Peloponnesian League realizes we can't fight Athens and their military. Because if Athens is here and the water's all out here, they are just dominating this water, okay? And so the Peloponnesian League is like, we really, really, really need naval might. And so the P League allies with Persia, their old enemy, because Persia still hates Athens and wants to get revenge on them. And back from Darius's days. Anywho, so they ally with them, and it's actually going to end up being a 27-year war. And every 4 years they stop to have the Olympics, and there's no conflict then. And so anyway, it continues on basically like this. So Athens has this giant wall, and their port is here, and it goes across like this, and Athens would be here or so, huge wall. So they can get the stuff from their port to Athens, and then they'd have some towns or cities or something out here. So it would always go like this. Sparta marches up, ransack the towns, besiege Athens a little bit, and then after a while they run out of supplies and go back home. And then Athens rebuilds up, and yeah. And then Athens starts using their naval might to try to take out the Persian ships and intimidate Sparta. Not really working for them because Sparta can farm, so they're not really blockading any trading. Okay, so anyway, that's how Athens stayed in the war so long, was that wall. And so it always goes like that. Sparta besieges them, they run out of supplies, they go home. Okay, and so, plague. And so anyway, Athens has this really great general, and plague strikes them. Okay, and their leader in general that was introducing democracy and really made it this great thing and was doing all this great stuff for Athens dies. that plague killed a fourth of their population. And let me show you how that happened. Well, so remember how I said they had this wall, right? That went from port to Athens. Okay. Well, they had some cities out here that were just constantly being berated by, the Spartans, and they were like, this is just too much. So they bring these cities and they let the people in the gates inside into Athens. Well, now Athens has to support more people, more jobs, and they're using more resources. Okay? And so all of this combined is making Athens have overpopulation, overcrowding, just all these problems. And what happens when overcrowding happens? If a person gets sick, it spreads quicker. There's a plague. And we don't know exactly what the plague was, because back then plague was basically a word for anything that killed a lot of people. So yeah, it could have been an actual plague, but a lot of people are thinking that it could have been dysentery, because there were so many people, and obviously it was ancient times, so they weren't saying, here's your Clorox wipe or hand sanitizer, We're thinking it was dysentery due to sanitation, and anyway, some giant disease hits, wipes out a fourth of their population, and in the end, it continues on. It's this game of attrition till Athens has hit that big blow. Persia starts destroying their navy, so, Persia is out here. They're just killing Athens. They're killing Athens' navy. Sparta's ruling the ground. Finally, Athens loses. So, Sparta plus P-League over Athens, and sort of the Delian League loses, but in a sense they win, because now they can leave, and it's not Athens' personal empire anymore. That was my crash course on the Peloponnesian War, and I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe and share, and